All right, welcome to another edition of the Five Star Zone. Rico Beard, Evan Jenkins. Evan, a little preview of week 2, because I'm not really including week 0 as whatever. So from here on out, this is week 2 coming up this weekend.
Well, yeah, none of our teams really played in week 0 other than Nebraska.
Right. So here's my breakdown. Unfortunately, there's no detail. This may be the SEC equivalent of Cupcake Week. Most of the Big Ten games, every Big Ten team, I think, is favored in every game.
Probably by quite a bit, too.
No, the closest one, there are 2 that are actually close. And I guess it's Iowa State, the Cy-Hawk Trophy. It's normally a good game. It's in week 2. And if you like good defensive football, it's fun to watch. They hate each other. Okay, they do. This is imagine this is Michigan State week 2, but they're in different conferences. So this is the only time they get to play each other. They get the trophy on the line. I think Iowa's won the last 6 times. This is one, if you were a betting person, yeah, they don't score a ton of points. I think last year they scored a total of 42 points.
Iowa had 7 last week. They're rolling.
Iowa scored 7, 2 safeties and a field goal. Iowa State won their game, but just to show you how bad it was, Iowa State, let me look real quick. Iowa State was rolling. They won 42-10 over Southeast Missouri State. They're 4.5-point underdogs.
Yeah.
That should let you know. Iowa can play defense. Spencer Petras, the quarterback, struggled. You know what? You're probably going to see something where Kurt Ferentz may go to the backup QB. It may be one of those things where, unlike what you're seeing at Michigan, the starter really ain't getting it done. I mean, when you go a whole game without scoring, I mean, we nitpick and, oh my God, look at Cade's interception or almost interception or, look at Peyton Thorne's stupid pick. They didn't score a touchdown.
No, not at all.
Do you know how hard that is to do?
They made it look quite easy, to be honest with you.
It got to the point in that game where you were actually rooting. I don't want them to score. I want to see history being made. It was like the 67 or 68-yard field goal against the Lions. Like, I want to see history now.
Yeah.
This is a bad game. Give me something to remember by. It's not going to be a ton of points scored. I think the Vegas line has it like 39.5 points. And I got to be honest with you, I'm thinking about taking the under still. Iowa's going to play great defense. I don't know if they can score. Iowa State's going to be coming in with, I think, a freshman or a redshirt freshman QB. He looked great against Southwest Missouri State, but yeah, now you're about to take a step up because of all the teams in the Big Ten. Iowa may have the best defense, period.
They remind me a lot of like the Spartans with Andrew Maxwell.
Yeah.
Like that got the D. If Iowa ever had a quarterback that's just like decent to good, they would be making some noise, but they just can't get that in. But I mean, I'm going to be watching, but we have some games here too.
I mean, we'll get to that.
I mean, do we? I mean,
right. I mean, so, but the games here, let's face it,
they're scrimmages, right?
Michigan State's at 4:00. They're doing the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. If you saw the previous one, you saw we interviewed Greg Jones. He's going in. Draymond Green is going in. That's why a lot of the basketball players are back. I think
all of them.
I think he's the headliner. MSU's favored by 34 points against Akron. Akron is bringing in 26 new players, 26 transfers. So they've kind of like Mel Tucker flipped the team. The coach said he was building his team very similar to what Tucker did, where he's got a lot of players. Where Tucker kind of went and got players to either move up or go sideways. He's gone the other route where he's got players to take a step down. It's not to denigrate the players, but sometimes a kid goes to, I think he's got a kid from Alabama. You go to a big school and you realize at the most you're a special teams player. You're never going to see the field. You're never going to get in the game. So you go and you play where you can play a lot. Like Ladarius Jefferson went to Western Michigan. He was the running back for Western last year, and he played a lot in the game against Michigan State. They got 26 of those guys coming in Spartan Stadium. I don't know if everything has clicked for them yet, but for Michigan State, I think you're going to see they always say there's improvement from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah.
And this is where you gotta shore up your offensive line. This is one where, Pro Football Focus graded out and it actually said that Peyton Thorne had a great game. He was 12 for 24 with, 4 touchdowns and a pick. For me, he's got to learn. He did one thing that I don't think people gave him credit for. He's learned how to distribute the ball.
Yeah. Wasn't all Jaden Reed. I mean, you didn't even really see him in that game.
Jaden Reed had, I think, 3 catches for 31 yards. That was it. I mean, it was he got the ball to different people. That was my biggest concern. Now, can you use the middle of the field? He's always tempted to go deep.
Always.
And I don't know if that's him. I don't know if that's Jay Johnson, but man, we know you can go deep. We know you can throw the deep ball, but sometimes you just use the middle of the field. You saw that like in the last night's Thursday night game where you're watching the guys, Josh Allen and Stafford, just, okay, I'm going to take the little 10-yard middle of the field tight end, first down. Keep the chains moving. Because if you're MSU, you have enough that you should lead in time of possession. Because that's going to be key when it comes down to the season. The run game, it wasn't spectacular. I think people didn't realize how good it was until you saw the stat line and was like, oh, okay, Burger had 120-some yards. Okay, Broussard had like almost 70 yards. Like they had over 200 yards rushing. You just didn't notice
it. Was just
because there was no Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, and it was kind of blah until Berger broke that 50-yard run at the end of the game. But, I mean, that's all they need to do. Get your 3-4 yards
and that's
carry.
Just it. You grind it out. You break the other team's will. And, yeah, Western Michigan, yeah, they're Western. Before people like, oh, Western in the fourth quarter, they wore them down. They had nothing, and State went out. They covered with that last touchdown to Trey Mosley. That's what you're looking for. Defense, what are you going to get out of Wyndham? What's life going to be like now without Darius Snow? Henderson, I don't think is going to play in this game, possibly in the game against Washington. But, yeah, you just still want to see what that pass rush is like. They did not blitz at all against Western. I don't think you're going to see another blitz. The fact that they got 7 sacks without blitzing was pretty good. That's a good indication of what this defense is going to be. Tucker, as he said, he was happy. He wasn't satisfied. They got to do more. They got to keep that momentum going the entire game. Make sure Akron doesn't believe that they can win, because that's the one thing, man. It's like when they play some of these teams, it's that third quarter coming out of halftime. They're kind of fat and sassy, as Izzo would say.
Yeah.
And they always get caught off guard. I forgot the team last year, but it was another. I think it was Bowling Green. And Bowling Green came out in the third quarter and kind of started scoring. And then they say, okay, enough of that. So I would like to see them come out in the third quarter and just shut it down. Nope. Because it seems like they just went into halftime and party.
Yeah, let's see Noah Kim in the fourth quarter. Let's see Jordan Simmons and Elijah Collins and those guys get some reps and, see their depth at receiver too, because I think they have good depth at receiver.
In my world, yeah, halftime would be everybody's done.
Right.
The starters are done. As a matter of fact, go take a shower, go put on street clothes, because I'm not putting you back in.
Yeah, maybe even see their freshman quarterback in Caton Hauser. I mean, if all things are going correct, that should happen.
And then we could all debate, oh, my God, he's special.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of special, I don't know what to say about Michigan.
Oh, they have 2 special quarterbacks, obviously.
I think it's going to be a coronation at the halftime where they're just going to anoint JJ the job. It's going to be how they're going to do Prince Charles now over in England.
Just instantly. Yeah.
Where at halftime, hey, stick around. The band's going to play royal music, Hail to the Victors, the Regal style. And he's going to go out there and he's going to take a knee and Jim will place the crown on top of his head. And at the same time, he'll snap his fingers and Cade will get beheaded.
He'll come out at halftime, JJ, with a captaincy all of a sudden on his jersey. It's like, wait, I thought that was Cade.
It's like Game of Thrones. You still see Cade's jersey attached to the seat, holding it up like he's Jon Snow in the Battle of the Bastards.
I mean, listen, is it a good problem to have when both your quarterbacks could play?
Dude,
sure.
You're playing Hawaii.
But that's the point. You're favored by 51 points.
At least now, and I think that could go up. I think if you're Michigan, there's only a couple things. You can't get injured, and you can't let Hawaii score. And am I setting the bar high? No.
No.
Hawaii stinks. Okay. I'll give you a touchdown early in the game. Maybe the only way you get a touchdown for me if it's in the fourth quarter and try-hard guy just gets a scoop and score type of thing against your fifth string walk-on QB.
Yeah, something like Orgy's playing at the end of the
game. I'm talking about the guy after Orgy.
Oh, okay.
Like the Orgy is done.
Well, Orgy is like fourth. I think that Bowman comes in the transfer that they got last year.
Right. I'm talking about the walk-on guy.
Like the fifth string.
Yeah, after string. Yeah, like I said, the Orgy's over, and now we're to the fifth string walk-on guy. I mean, it's going to be an empty place. You know, a buddy of mine's going to the game. I'd say, good luck. You'll be home by halftime.
You know, and
I've never been to a night game before. I'm like, you picked the wrong one, but you know what? Go, enjoy, have fun, and seriously, get the hell out at halftime, beat the traffic home.
And you know what? Maybe we only hear on the radio every day the minority of the Michigan fan that all they want is J.J. McCarthy. And I was asking this question around the office yesterday. What meaningful snaps has J.J. really taken at the University of Michigan, right? You had the ones at Michigan State. We know the outcome there. He had some snaps against Penn State, but at the end of the day, it was Cade McNamara.
Cade won the game. But, you know, Cade just threw the ball. Eric all did all the work.
Right. And then, I mean, you look at any other meaningful game that they had, it was always Cade at the end, always against Ohio State. Now I know I only threw the ball 3 times in the second half,
right?
Whoop-dee, but it was Cade handing that ball off all the time. Like that trust factor was there, and I don't understand. And people are also going to play this card. He was injured during the spring,
right?
Okay, but you still know what you have out of that kid.
All I gotta say is
it's just wild to me.
Make your choice.
I just think
there's nothing. This is cake icing. This is such empty calories, this game.
It's almost like creating a story when there shouldn't even be a story, right? Like if I'm looking at it as a Michigan fan, it's almost like it's an unnecessary distraction for no apparent reason, right?
Exactly.
Because I still believe, this is my belief, Evan Jenkins, that when UConn kicks off, Maryland, whoever it might be, Iowa, both quarterbacks are still going to be playing. I think this is all just a dog and pony show because we saw it last week. Right. JJ wasn't supposed to play. It was supposed to be Cade's game. And then you see him come in, and I'm like, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen.
I told you, for Cade, for JJ, it's going to be what happens when teams now design defenses to stop you. Because right now, nobody designs a defense to stop you. No. As much as Michigan fans like to think that he's this messiah, defensive coordinators spend very little time on him because they know he's only going to come in for a couple trick plays. We got to focus on the majority. We got to shut down Cade, not him. Now, when this gets flipped, we'll see. Yeah, as I said, I saw Rocky Lombardi in that game against Purdue look awesome because Purdue had no clue to what he could do. I think when JJ gets in there against a good team, they're not really going to know. In baseball, you see a guy come up and he's Akil Baddoo. He knocks the cover off the ball, and then they realize, oh, he can't hit a slider. Just throw him a bunch of sliders.
Right. And I mean, in this kind of D1 major football, that's all they do is watch film. They're looking for your weakness, whatever that might be, and they try to exploit it. And it's just going to be so curious to me. Like, I almost feel bad for Cade. Just the fact, like, I watched his post-game press conference and where he's talking about, like, it was unexpected, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, it probably is. Like, you did everything they asked of you, everything and more. Because let's be honest, they hadn't won a Big Ten since 2004. All these quarterbacks have come through that school. And he's the one. And now you're like, nah, you're going to sit the bench. Now, listen, if you have these grand national championship aspirations, and I don't understand it. I don't get it because I feel like if JJ, he would have started last year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's developed that much from freshman to sophomore year that you're like, oh my God, this is like the next Josh Allen. Like, he's not physically huge. Right. He reminds me a lot of Dylan McCaffrey in all reality. I mean, likes to run, put his head down.
Evan, you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Whatever. I mean, I've always talked about Michigan and Michigan fan. They're not going to like you or I, and that's just a matter of fact.
I gave up that a long time
and I don't
ago.
care, but at least looking at it from the outside in, I don't care who plays at the end of the day, but it's just unnecessary. right? Especially with the teams you're playing.
Yeah.
You're playing like, yes, Michigan State's playing a MAC opponent. You guys are playing like the Macomb area conference opponents right now. Like, I feel like I could take a meaningful snap out there.
You're not going to get anything from this game. You just can't have anybody get hurt.
No,
honestly, if I'm Harbaugh, you're going to kick the can down the road even further because you're just going to run the ball.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. This time next week, are we in the same exact spot, not knowing who's starting, who's playing?
Dude,
you think Monday he's going to be like, so-and-so's my starting quarterback?
It's JJ's job. The fact, Evan, think about this, and we'll end it here.
No, I want to ask one more question. Okay, so don't end it there.
Cade won the Big Ten. He beat Ohio State. He got you to the playoffs.
He threw for 400 yards against Michigan State.
The fact that it's still a debate means it was never his job.
Right.
Okay. It was never his job. And here's what Michigan fan, you're just afraid of JJ. Like, guys, no, you just can't appreciate. You've been pumping up saviors for the last 15-some years. This guy, whether going back to the Denard Robinson,
to Tate Forcier, Devin Gardner, John O'Korn,
Shea Patterson,
Brandon Peters was the next.
Alex Malzone,
Wilton Spate is the guy.
Wilton Spate is the guy. Joe Milton. Did you know he could throw the ball 70 yards from his knees?
Did you know that you couldn't question that without getting attacked?
Yeah. Did you know that he's like Cam Newton?
No, it was a perfect mix of, Cam Newton and Patrick Mahomes. And I'm like, get out of here.
Right.
Like Devin Gardner said that.
And then the guy comes in and does everything you always wanted. And he was the wrong guy to do it. He wasn't that. It was, no, wait, don't let him be the quarterback. We want the other guy. So you know what? You get what you get. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's JJ's. Let's just quit kidding ourselves.
What does this do for the 17-year-old kid right now that's sitting thumbing through all of his offers? Right, he's got Michigan, Bama, Tennessee. They all have the big offers when you go to one of these schools. What does that do for that kid that looks at this situation and he's like, do I really want to get tangled up in that?
Well, I think the other layer is, and then you go there and you're just handing the ball off. You saw that with Carr going to Notre Dame.
Dante Moore
goes to Oregon. But Carr going to Notre Dame. That's Lloyd Carr's grandson.
No,
Lloyd Carr sitting uncomfortably with a Notre Dame hat on. Jesus, Jim, what the hell did you do? Why is my grandson going to Notre Dame?
And I don't know. I believe it's your show where you guys talked about Dante Moore's dad having like a Michigan tattoo. Like that's like one of our kids being like, no, we don't want to go to Michigan State. And I'd be like what?
Yeah. but the fact that you can't pick a quarterback, because it's okay. If you just chose JJ and said, you know what, we're going with the younger guy. Okay, I'm cool with that. But you made this a dog and pony show. Kids are seeing that. And before you hit me with the whole, well, he must not like competition. No, guys, they're going where they can play. And then when you get there, you're just handing the ball off. If I'm a quarterback, I can't get to the pros turning around and handing that ball off. I go to Oregon, I can throw the ball. I go to Notre Dame, I can throw the ball. You can showcase the quarterback.
So was Rudock is the last one to go pro, right? Michigan quarterback. Unless I'm missing somebody. I don't think I am.
Yeah.
But it's not like they've been serving at quarterbacks to the pros as of late.
I don't think is he still in the league?
No. He's gone. He was with the Lions for a minute, went to Miami for a minute, and that was that.
Yeah, the last one I think that stuck is still Henny.
Sure. Which
shocked me. I was like, he's still in the league?
Crazy.
He's the Drew Stanton. Like,
loving life.
He's got the greatest gig in the world. I'm making a ton of money.
He's Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, I don't get hit. I get to go in like 2 games a year. And
a good chance I get one of these, a ring.
Yeah, I'll be able to pick up my kids and enjoy life because I won't get my brains bashed in.
Yeah, it's like Brian Hoyer sat behind Tom Brady for how long? Probably loved every moment of it. And that's the same thing. You know, Chad Henne's sitting there right behind Patrick Mahomes, like, sweet.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm playing, the season's probably screwed as it is.
So, but I think for kids, it's going to be difficult. You keep saying they're missing out on QBs because you can't point to a game and say, look at this game. You're going to be like this guy. When a kid is there, like last year, Washington game was a big recruiting weekend, and they ran the ball
over
50+ times.
Well, in the game that you could
Dante
really,
Moore sitting right there in the stands. What is he supposed to think?
I mean, in the game that you could point at for throwing the football is a Michigan State game.
Right.
And then you look at it and you're like, well, you put that kid in, and I know Cade was in the tent, couldn't have played.
Sweet.
Even though we have never.
I've yet to see the video footage of him actually in the tent.
We got the video footage of my man throwing a stake into the ground and Joe Bolden. Grainy from far away, but yet we don't have it of Cade.
Film. Right. Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that rubs me the wrong way. It's kind of like how I say I don't believe Wilt Chamberlain had 100 points.
Right.
Somebody has something.
Dude, they didn't have cell phones back then.
We won't get into this one today.
They didn't have cell phones.
I know, but they had cameras. He had a camera with that.
That was in Hershey, Pennsylvania. You know what you probably had? One photographer.
Hey.
He had to choose between, hey, Willy Wonka has a new flavor coming out, and Wilt Chamberlain and the Sixers are playing.
And he showed up late. He wrote 100 on a piece of paper. It's like, Wilt, hold this.
Oh, you scored 100? Okay, can you at least put that? This is the best that I could do. But hey, here's a new Hershey bar.
Yeah, it's like, bam.
Mr. Good bar came out. It's pretty good. It's got peanuts in it.
I actually like a Mr. Good. I like a lot. Oh, all
right.
You want my question?
Yeah.
Okay, so 4:10 tomorrow. How many tweets are we going to see? This Michigan State neon is awful. I can't believe they wear it.
Oh, you don't have to wait to that. It's already out there. I mean, I don't think you're seeing a disparaging factors between the old and the young.
You know, they should have a young Twitter and an old Twitter at this point.
And at this point, it's progress. And with progression comes resistance, because a lot of people don't like change. But it's happening with the sound system in the stadium. And oh, by the way, people, it's a work in progress. I can say personally, without the siren, that yes, at the end of the game, I was standing next to Alan Holler as he was talking to the woman over marketing, and they were doing checklists of things that they need to improve. That was one thing. He was like, okay, music's a little too loud, and we can't have the music and the band playing at the same time. Let's write that down as well. They know these things. They don't do this just to annoy you. Like, he doesn't wake up, I gotta piss off these fans.
And that's your dry run, is the first game of the year, because like you can't simulate that in the summer.
The neon jerseys, I mean, they're wearing them. I mean, the helmets are new helmets. They're like the green on greens, except for the white outline is now a neon outline. But hey, when recruits commit to Michigan State, the latest recruit who committed, he had on that state jersey.
Oh, okay. So do you have information on that kid that just came from Penn State at all?
I'm still trying to figure. No, that he
might as well hit on that.
He was like one of the Penn State's top defensive players. He was in the Army All-American game. He's a defensive lineman, 4-star kid, and he got there. Apparently something happened. Now, there's rumors out there. I'm not going to get into the rumors.
Something happened enough that he left.
If you want to really find out about the rumors, just like I did with the Michigan guy who they brought in, hit the Google.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find everything that you need to know, speculation-wise. I'm not going to address that. But he left. He hit the portal
like
literally
August 15th, I think I saw.
Like 2 weeks after hitting camp. And he was out there, and Michigan State was one of the teams he was looking at. And I actually kind of forgot about him. And then he did. Now, I think he has to petition if he wants to play this year, because it's a gray area, because people are like, well, the portal's closed. No, first of all, the portal is not closed. You could go into the portal at any time. The rule that everybody keeps sending me, I'm like, this goes to prove to you that people don't read everything. Because if you get all the way to the end, it says when it takes place next year in January is when it takes place. But it's, well, what about this? Like, keep reading. It's like I do it with my class sometimes. At the end, I want to make sure you read the whole thing. So at the end, it'll say, if you read this, act angry, ball up this test, and walk out the room.
Yeah, it's like, I forget which quarterback it was, but they would put money at the end of the playbook.
Right.
They would turn their playbook back in. The cash is still sitting there. It's like, we know you didn't go through it, dude.
Right. You didn't read all the way to the end. Right. It's like, yeah, you know, or the, what was it? The Jamarcus Russell
with the videotape.
With the blank tape. What'd you like about the tape? Well, you know, Jamarcus, let me just stop you right there. It was blank.
It didn't even work, man.
You didn't look at it. You didn't turn it on. So. Yeah, they're gonna be wearing the neons. People will get angry.
What new?
Deal with it. They love it. And let's just hope that it's not like a Madden curse and nothing happens to Keon Coleman. Because remember, Snow did week 1.
I know. Let's hope that isn't the case.
If it is, that's the last person that would be the last player to do one of the
Neon Keon
at
play
that
off
point.
of Neon Dion, playing 2 sports.
Yeah.
Also,
I didn't even get that.
That's what I took out of it.
No, that makes sense. He's dunking, and all of a sudden he lands in that.
I can't wait. I mean, college football, I'm always pumped for. So let's wait and see, and then we'll be back next week, obviously, to talk about. We might even be back Saturday night, Sunday morning to talk about what happened.
You never know. All right. For Evan, this is Rico. Thanks for listening to the 5 Star Zone.